in a place where tomorrow's leaders are groomed.
Where did Mr. McNamara learn to row?
The local sewers, I imagine. He's a townie.
He won us the Ivy League championship 3 years in a row. That's all I know.
In an organization
Are you ready to be reborn?
where success is assured.
Godzilla vs. Kong star Kaylee Hoddle dead after a sudden accident. She was just 18 years old. The actress and high school senior died in a traffic accident in Maryland. Kaylee was deaf and came from a multi-generational deaf family. Her dad sharing the news in an emotional live stream using American Sign Language as he traveled from their home in Texas to claim her body.
I know Gia is only a child, but she's the only one he'll communicate with.
Kaylee, who got her start in commercials, made her film debut as a young orphan in the big-budget blockbuster Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, with Alexander Skarsgård and Rebecca Hall. She reprised her role in the 2024 sequel, The New Empire.
And action. And cut there.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
I'd like to be in a lot of different sorts of movies. I'm equally comfortable with period movies or a futuristic film. You don't know when I appear in a film if I'm going to be the guy that rescues, that saves the day, or if I'm going to be the guy that, that everything goes bad and you want me dead. There's no way to know. I think that's a useful thing.
From Disney to Marvel to spy thrillers to westerns, Sam was right. He had range. But it was this blockbuster franchise that turned the New Zealand native into a cinema icon.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds.
I like working with dinosaurs, they don't... We speak the same language.
One's at the ready.
Scared, Potter.
You wish.
On the count of 3, cast your charms to disarm your opponent. Only to disarm. We don't want any accidents here. 1, 2.
Inverte statue! Rictus Emperor!
I said disarm only!
Serpent Sortier!
Don't move, Potter. I'll get rid of it for you.
Allow me, Professor Snape. Volate ascendere!
Flama Seus, Lucifer matutinus inveniat. Ide in quam Lucifer qui nescito casum, Christus filius tuus, qui regressus ab inferis, humano generis serenus iuc sit, et tecum vivit et regnat in saecula saeculorum.
Pera, Ivanaska.
What are you playing at?
Our membership has its pleasures, its hardships, and sometimes its pain.
We live by the rules, we die by the rules.
Watch King Kong climb to the top of the Twin Towers every time you have a drink. It's the King Kong drinking straw. When your glass is full, King Kong sinks to the bottom. Put in your straw. And as you drink, watch him climb. The more you drink, the higher he climbs until he reaches the top. The King Kong drinking straw comes complete with 2 throwaway straws. The King Kong drinking straw by Mego.
Hog Island. Could this small island be the key to who wins the war? It's located about 26 kilometers off the coast of Iran, and despite its size, around 8 to 9 kilometers long, it's a critical hub for the country's energy industry. It handles the vast majority of Iran's oil exports. In fact, 90% of crude oil is taken from Iran through pipes to this terminal.
And now you can build your own King Kong with these challenging King Kong model kits. You need no glue, no special tools. Just snap together and paint it, and you have a realistic model of Kong fighting the giant snake. Or for a real challenge, build King Kong on top of the Twin Towers. When you're finished, they make a great addition to any kid's room.
Gentlemen, welcome home.
Luke McNamara is about to get an opportunity
A skull upon any other.
he's only dreamed of.
Senator, it's a pleasure to meet you. What do you think of all this? To be honest, it's all a little bit overwhelming.
But if a secret society can give you everything you desire,
This is your pre-acceptance to the law school of your choice.
That's gotta be a mistake.
You are a skull.
imagine what they can take away.
And its deep waters around the island make it easier for large tankers that can transport up to 85 million gallons of oil. The tankers then travel down the Gulf and out of the Strait of Hormuz to deliver a majority of the oil to China. So what role is this small island playing in the war?
King Kong model kits come complete with easy-to-follow picture instructions. By Mego. By Mego. By Mego.
Are photos of an island in the South Pacific.
The place where myth and science meet.
We use explosives to shake the earth, helping us to map the surface of the island. You're dropping bombs. Scientific instruments.
Please, this mobile could be my ticket to Yale.
Another Bush kid, another Bush kid. How about this girl?
Her grades and test scores are superb. She's got Bula. But does she have Bula Bula?
What about this mobile she did in the 2nd grade?
Accept. Full ride.
Bula bula, bula bula.
Not so fast, Lisa. You didn't apologize to your 2nd grade teacher. And all we do at Yale is apologize.
Sorry, 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 please excuse our quirks. Quirks, quirks, quirks. Won't you kindly listen? to us rich male jerks.
It's March 22nd, 1947. President Truman signed an executive order that required loyalty tests for employees in the executive branch of the government. The move was intended to preserve national security in the opening days of the Cold War. If a test indicated reasonable doubts of an employee's loyalty, he or she was dismissed. Between 1947 and 1956, over 5 million federal workers were screened. Almost 3,000 were dismissed, and another 12,000 resigned.
Starting with the star-studded event at the White House 2 days in a row.
Yeah, 23 artists and acts were honored as President Biden passed out National Medals of Arts and National Humanities Medals to such legends as Bruce Springsteen, Gladys Knight, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Here were some of the lighter moments.
My friend, President Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I know where you are. She's over here going, I'm over here. I'm going to talk with Julie later whether she liked being VP or president better. I got to figure that one out. Following her example, including Mindy Kaling, from Massachusetts, but as we all know, Scranton, Pennsylvania made her who she is. Or as we say in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The boss is here. As they say in South Philly and North Wilmington, a Jersey boy. Bruce, some people are just born to run, man.
Congratulations. Thank you, Steve.
I, Stephen Mnuchin, do solemnly swear.
I, Stephen Mnuchin, do solemnly swear.
Now Mnuchin will head the Treasury Department with his signature on every American bill.
Have you been working on your signature for the
I have indeed. I have indeed. So I've been practicing it, so it'll be nice and neat on the money.
Mnuchin's career has also been dotted with controversy. He profited from the housing meltdown. His father worked at Goldman Sachs, and Steve followed him to the firm. Mnuchin donated to both parties over the years, including Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2008.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail. John Kerry, thanks for joining us.
How can I deny him? If he's willing to pay for it, he's gonna get it. Any price. $1, sir. You'll see many more. People will come pouring in from land and sea. We'll have centers for testing. Let's start investing. Keep those dimes and dollars mounting. I'll collect. I'll do the counting. Everyone who lives here will be strong and healthy. You'll be getting richer by the day. Hear the acclaimers. This town will be famous. The whole wide world will look at us and say, Adamaquasi, no, Paquamasadi, no, Passamamasi, Aquadamapati, Passamadaddy, Aquadamapasi, Aquadamadi, Dapadaddy, Dapamasi, Quadapasi, Passapasa, Passaquasa, aha! Quadi! I know.
gonna do?
We live by the rules, we die by the rules.
I want to know the truth about what happened that night.
The surveillance cameras, so there's got to be tapes. Can you get any closer on this? Closer. I know what you did.
It's time we remove Mr. McNamara. He's no longer loyal.
Is that a monkey?
You keep digging, you're gonna dig your own grave.
Only an elite few ever get in.
I have evidence.
They erased the tape. Who? The skull. They control everything.
No one has ever gotten out.
Magnificent.
You knew that thing was out here?
I'm sorry for your men, Colonel. But if you want to make their sacrifice worthwhile, get us home with proof. Monsters exist.
They're dead. If it's secret and elite, it can't be good.
Would you like your life back, Luke?
Whoa. Your friend there can put that down. What the hell is this place? That's Kong. He's king around here. Kong's a pretty good king. Keeps to himself mostly. Well, you don't go into someone's house and start dropping bombs unless you're picking a fight. Kong's God on the island, but the devils live below us.
And what are they called?
I call them skull crawlers.
Why?
Never said that name out loud before. It sounds stupid now that I say. Just, you call them whatever you want. A good group of boys. We're all gonna die together out here. You shouldn't have come here. Just chopper them in and out. Be a joyride.
You are going to tell me everything I don't know, or I'm going to blow your head off.
This planet doesn't belong to us. Ancient species owned this earth long before mankind. I spent 30 years trying to prove the truth. Monsters exist. You don't go into someone's house unless you're picking a fight.
What you're looking at is a monster from some bygone era. It's time to show that man is king.
Now, what we're going to cover today has never been considered since the inception of these films. And so you might ask, well, why now? Why is all this coming to fruition? Why is all this being revealed? Well, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And here's what we found. The entire King Kong story had nothing to do with an ape taken from his home world to star on Broadway, resulting in his tragic death. It's actually a biblical retelling of a Hebrew Exodus. Also, Egypt was rebuilt on the graves of those Hebrews, Broadway graves, as well as excommunication of Adam and Eve from the garden. There's also themes of cannibalism. And the wall that removed us from the garden, because remember, Adam and Eve were excommunicated from the garden, and the cherubim were set up basically to guard the way, the path back to the garden. Now, we're going to go deep esoterically on this. And like I said, none of this has been covered before. We can start by looking at some of these images, and I'm going to show you guys here, of basically what's going on with Lower Manhattan and Skull Island. Now, Skull Island was, of course, the home of King Kong. Pull this up here. These are some images of Skull Island. Here's the wall that was actually constructed by the cannibals. Now, you may be a little lost. There's a video that I did before this. There's actually two videos. Mark did a video and I did a video looking at Skull Island and Lower Manhattan. And there was actually a wall called Wall Street that seems to mirror the wall that's on Skull Island. And what we had in Lower Manhattan was Wall Street. Wall Street held out the natives. It kept the natives out of the bankers' area, the bankers' territory. Let me show you some images of Wall Street. I have that pulled up here. Here it is here. Let's blow this up. On your left, and they used to call this New Amsterdam. This is what Wall Street used to be called. So I mirrored this and flipped this image over, and there you see this wall running east and west. Actually, it's just rotated, and it seems to mimic the wall that was on Skull Island. Now, there are other elements of this. We have Sandy Peninsula, which this is what this was down at the tip of Lower Manhattan. It was a sandy peninsula, and actually filled it all around the edges with landfill. And that is what became Lower Manhattan. It became the foundation. You're actually looking at it right here, from which all these buildings came up out of Lower Manhattan, these slim towers included. So what you had was this plan. Now, esoterically, there was something very dark and cryptic about the foundation of this place. The image of Lower Manhattan looks like the Belt of Orion, as well as the Twin Towers. Pull that up. Here it is. And see, you can see here that the slim towers next to the Freedom Tower, here's the on the left, is laid out like the Belt of Orion. Here in the upper right corner is the Belt of Orion and the stars. And then in the lower right corner is the three pyramids at Giza. So we've established the connection between Lower Manhattan and Egypt. Okay, so we just wanted to establish that. And then here is the Wall Street that we're talking about. This wall was named after Wall Street. And here's the confirmation that was the case. So, okay, keep going, Mark. You were talking about the slaves being buried outside the wall.
Right, yeah. So the interesting fact about that is, at the time, I've got some notes here, so I'm just going to read from them. The population of, like, the inhabited area there that we're looking at, around about that time, so it's like 1660s sort of time, that allegedly it was supposed to be about 40% slave population. Now, bearing in mind when they did a census, like later on through time in about 1795, there was actually 15,000 slaves that had been buried outside the wall.
Wow.
15,000 in that 6 acres. So somewhere under what's now Manhattan and all those expensive properties is a load of spirits of the slaves who built the wall.
Yeah, this is right out of Poltergeist. The
yeah.
Poltergeist film, they built these homes on the old grave sites, and in one of the Poltergeist films, they actually build a skyscraper on one of the grave sites, and then that was actually the film that the little girl died in or before.
Yes, and now seems a good time to say this is sort of like how we've arrived to where we are now, because I did a video a little while back, and you'd already done the video on King Kong, where we'd sort of picked out the Twin Towers meanings behind that, hadn't we? And so I decided to look into like the history of Manhattan Island, and this is how we've arrived at this, and then tied it in with the King Kong thing. So
right, and just to let everyone know, this whole project is like a hall of mirrors. Nothing is what it seems, and so you have to be careful not to assume anything, because roles and motives are interchanged, evil and good, and the enemy. He revels in this realm where he can masquerade as good and then change the roles at will to confuse and confound you. And this is where we're going to get into the identity of King Kong and who he actually represented. He actually represented, you won't even imagine what King Kong actually represents. And all of this is occurring in the realm of the knowledge of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, subliminal film sorcery at its finest, impregnating ideas and concepts into your brain, aimed at your spiritual core. And so this is where the story begins, with this 1600s map of Lower Manhattan, formerly known as New Amsterdam. And it is known that the wall that you see at the top of the screen was used to defend against invaders, natives, and stuff like that. And it would later be known as Wall Street. And then you see the sandy beach down here at the bottom, which matches with Skull Island from King Kong. I believe that Skull Island, now we know what the Skull Island really means, right? It's the dead skulls of the buried dead underneath, right? Mm-hmm. As above, so below.
Right.
So we have all these analogies between Skull Island and New Amsterdam or Lower Manhattan. And because
the skull symbolizes death, doesn't it? You know, as in Skull and Bones and all that 322 stuff.
Right. Human sacrifice necessary to build this stuff. It's all built on sacrifice, right? And the whole of Lower Manhattan was built around this sandy beach or a landfill, right? Later they would build this landfill around. I think I have some slides pulled up here of actually showing the original footprint. So this is only the central part of Lower Manhattan. And all the sides, they pushed off landfill. Here's a really good image over here.
It's really sort of doubled the size almost, didn't it? Right down on that sort of end.
Yes. So obviously Broadway would have moved, but basically you're getting the point. This is all goes on these spiritual, very deep esoteric levels that you couldn't imagine. And this is why, you know, you've got these images of Kong in some of the more recent films climbing the Slim Towers. And here they show him falling from the Slim Towers. And let's see here. I'll show you a couple other things before you get into Kong's true identity. So outside the wall where Kong was, there was called Skull Mountain. And Skull Mountain, I believe, represented the Empire State Building and the Tree of Life. Why the Tree of Life? Well, remember, this is all Hall of Mirrors. So obviously Skull Mountain is not a good thing, and Empire State Building is not a good thing, but it's their dark side version of the Tree of Life. And that was the Tree of the Jungle. And this is why you heard Bush say 1,000 points of light, and also rule of law, not rule of the jungle. He was making fun of God's natural law, Okay, this is why all these laws contradict God's law. This is why you can't go out and catch a fish without a $300 fine, because they're going against God's natural law and your rights to your land. This is why they charge you for mortgages and land when land should be free. Okay, because they're basically stepping in between. And this is what it's all about. It's a world system of money to enslave you and to get you on their program instead of God's natural program. You see? So,
yeah. And that also gets me thinking about, like, I've been looking into the guy who actually wrote the story of King Kong, a guy called Edgar Wallace. And I just looked up about him tonight, and really amazing bit of information on Wikipedia if anybody wants to check that out. But the guy was actually...
you want me to go ahead and share screens with you? Or you want to go ahead and share screens?
No, I haven't actually got that up, I don't see. Oh, yes, I have, yeah. I can do, yeah. You want to... Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
I go ahead and share screen.
I can... Tell me if I've got it right.
Let's see here, and yes, we can see what you're seeing.
Okay. So here we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. There's Edgar Wallace. Now, the interesting thing about Edgar Wallace here, I'll do what you normally do. Look at the date when he was born.
Oh, that's the anti-date, the mirror date of Blind 11. So yeah. April 1st is, wait, actually, no, that's April 1st. So that's not the mirror date, but that's an important date too.
Right, exactly. And so he died in Beverly Hills, and he actually died before the film came out, the first one. He'd actually done the screenplay for it, and they were in production of it. And then I think he was a diabetic or something, and he actually died before the film came out. And the original screenplay had 110 pages.
Just like the amount of stories in the Slim Towers.
Exactly, yeah. And so anyway, he had pretty tough childhood by all accounts. And he joined the army, I think, and went to South Africa. And did a little jaunt down in South Africa, and after the war that he was in down there, he then went to the Belgian Congo. Now, anybody who knows a bit about the Belgian Congo, anybody who's seen the Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle film that they did a few years back, you'll know all the wicked things that went on. There's a little bit I've highlighted here. During 1907, Edgar traveled to the Congo Free State to report on atrocities committed against the Congolese under King Leopold of Belgium and the Belgian rubber companies, in which up to 15 million Congolese were killed.
Wow.
Apart from the very obvious alien agenda, the arrival that brings in martial law and ushers in the New World Order, topics that we discussed in the previous video regarding the TV show Colony, there are definitely more agendas at play in many other movies and TV shows. We are seeing, I believe, the return of the Nephilim being portrayed in this film. Now, many of you remember that there was a previous film done on King Kong back in 2005 with Jack Black, and this also ties in together with this particular film. I do not believe they are sequels. I believe they are just, I guess, enhancing the story, I guess you could say. But I find it quite fascinating that even right in the poster, you see 5 soldiers making almost a pyramidal shape, and there are 5 of them, to me denoting possibly the 5th age that is coming. They almost seem to be even walking on the water. And even right in the poster itself, it's saying, "All hail the king," which is none other than King Kong. So to me, now being awake as many of you are, when you see things like Kong being hailed as the king, you can definitely be assured that they are yet again promoting paganism and the worship of beings and animals and things apart from the true God. So I really wanted to show some obvious connections here with regard to the return of the Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen angels with human women. But there are some connections that are also not obvious, that are more esoteric, that are more, I guess, hidden in plain sight, I guess you could say, and things that I seem to pick up on my own. I'm sure you will see the same things as well and possibly make the same connections. And according to IMDb, this movie is shown to be a team of explorers and soldiers travel to an uncharted island in the Pacific, unaware that they are crossing into the domain of monsters, including the mythical Kong. All right, so basically they are going to come across something that they have just never seen before, and they are basically in for the shock of a lifetime. Let me just show you some screenshots here and show some information from the internet and hope that you will see what I'm trying to say here. But I found this particular shot quite interesting, as you see a group of people. I think this part is from the army. I'm not sure who these people are, but I'm assuming they're all part of the same group, and someone is making a presentation here, and he is showing a mysterious undiscovered island in the South Pacific. This is something that we saw even in the previous King Kong movie in 2005, an island that they discovered or was not on the map or something like that. And, to me, is this more land, or is there more land out there that we just haven't been told about, that only the elites know? Sometimes I've been wondering lately that even the map of the world that we have, of course, it's a globe. I do not believe in the globe lie anymore. I believe in the true cosmology of the world according to the Bible. And possibly are we being shown that there could be more land out there? It's funny how this particular island that they're talking about looks like an evil face, which I guess denotes the name Skull Island. But anyways, is it another mysterious island out there or land that we have just not been told about? King Kong movie back in 2005 with Jack Black mentioned this Skull Island in a similar way, that it was an undiscovered, uncharted island. And it's interesting, as we just showed, that the ancient maps of the world possibly said the same thing. And here's just a shot from that, movie of 2005, King Kong, as they came to the Skull Island. There were these massive walls that were set up, and they were obviously set up to keep out something massive, which was most likely King Kong and the other crazy creatures that were shown in this movie. There were dinosaurs. Here you'll recall that King Kong got into a crazy fight with 2 or 3 different T-Rexes and, other crazy beings and creatures that were out there over the wall. So yet again, even how the Great Wall, that video we did a little while ago regarding a Matt Damon film, The Great Wall of China, also possibly depicting that the wall was built to keep out creatures other than just man, but crazy Nephilim giant creatures. So is this what we're being shown yet again? So as we keep going, I found this scene quite fascinating, where I believe this is Samuel L. Jackson said, really it's quite a unique head. You can't really, you can really pick it out anywhere. But, here it's showing him coming face to face with King Kong in the midst of chaos and fire and bombs. So is this kind of a cryptic way of showing that humanity is on the brink of chaos, which will usher in the New World Order beast system? And, the Antichrist will appear on the world stage, whether people like it or not. Humanity is going to face the beast itself. And, the beast will bring much destruction and desolations on the earth. After all, that is one of his titles. He is referred to as the abomination that causes desolation, and even human beings and humankind just, going face to face with the beast. This is yet another theme that is being shown in many movies. The one that I can recall was Bryce Dallas Howard's role in the recent film Jurassic World, where you see there is a scene of her facing basically the big monster in that movie. It was a genetically altered, dinosaur that was way bigger than a T-Rex and was basically capable of a lot of destructive power. But of course, she comes face to face with this, and this is something that the human race is going to face one day, because the abomination that causes desolation, depopulation, destruction is going to appear on the world scene very, very soon. He is not going to be a man, or it is not going to be a man. It is going to be a supernatural basically, I would say resurrection of Nimrod. It will be the son of Satan himself, the son of the dragon. It will be the abomination that causes desolation. And that is what I believe we are being shown here, that it's going to bring in so much of destruction into the world. And, with another scene in the trailer, you see a massive handprint of blood, which is basically King Kong's handprint. It's just more giant programming for the masses. I believe that this is exactly what Isaiah 13 has prophesied from millennia ago, and this is a passage that we have spoken about many times. I'm going to go to it yet again, right from the Septuagint version. From Isaiah chapter 13, it says, lift up, from verse 2, lift up a standard on the mountain of the plain, exalt the voice to them, beckon with the hand, open the gates. We'll talk about that gates a little later. Ye rulers, I give command, and I bring them. Giants are coming to fulfill my wrath. Rejoicing at the same time and insulting. So the Lord God, this is a prophecy against Babylon, against basically the world, that the sin of man and judgment is coming because of the sin of man, and God is literally going to allow the giants to come back, the return of the Nephilim, the progeny of the fallen angels mixing with humans. All that kind of thing is coming back. This has been prophesied from so long ago, and we are constantly being shown this in the movies. So they are coming to fulfill the wrath of God. There, I believe we are being shown over and over and over again that the Nephilim are coming, that it is an inevitable event that is going to take place. And, is this meaning that all of the abominable and detestable creatures are coming back? I believe that is. If you believe what the Bible says, then I fully believe that this is going to be part of the judgment that comes upon the entire world. Because again, it is said very clearly in Isaiah chapter 13, if you look at the Septuagint version of the Old Testament, it is basically a translation from the Hebrew into the Greek, which was then translated into English, but it is a very, very more literal translation. And as we keep going, I found this scene kind of interesting. You've got lucky number 13 there on the helicopter, which is, if you count these little bird-like paintings or drawings or stickers, whatever you want to call them, on the helicopter, they add up to 13. So to me, this is the Illuminati signature. The illuminated ones know that this day is coming because they completely worship Lucifer, they worship the dragon, they worship the fallen angels, and of course they worship their progeny, the Nephilim. And number 13 is, a big number in the Illuminati. If you go to this particular article that I've shown many times, this is none other than a big Illuminati number. There are 13 members in covens and satanic cults, 12 regular members, and 1 high priest. So this is a mirroring of 12 jurors and 1 judge, 13. There are 13 high occult families that run the world. All right, so that's something you need to remember, that the number 13 is very, very significant to the Illuminati because of the 13 supposed bloodlines that are running this world. So always keep that in mind, because this number 13 appears a lot in many of these movies. And as we keep going, John Goodman says that monsters exist, and he says that as you see this basically circular gateway, and you saw the gateway even in a different scene before this particular scene, to me, could this possibly be CERN symbolism to show that the pit is going to be open very soon? And, this number of people that are here, you've got 7 tribal people and 1 American, which is a total number of 8, and we know that 8 is the number of rebirth or new beginning. So really, is it again denoting that the 5th age is about to begin? And what I find quite interesting is that these tribal people on this island look similar to Buddhist monks. And the reason why I thought that is because I am of Sri Lankan descent myself, and Buddhism just happens to be the major religion of Sri Lanka, apart from Hinduism and even Catholicism. But Buddhism dominates Sri Lanka, where I come from. And so what do the red and gold colors mean in Buddhism? They actually have a flag with about 5 or 6 different colors, and they all have meaning. So let's just check out what the meanings of those colors are in Buddhism. And I got this great article here from the Colors of Religion, aka for this particular religion, Buddhism. So the color red symbolizes life force, preservation, fire, and sacred things or places. It also riddled with duality. That's really interesting. We'll keep that in mind as we talk about duality a lot in many videos. But yet again, the red symbolizes fire and duality, because fire can represent warmth and comfort, but can also be a destructive force. So there you go. You've got the duality symbolized in the red. And the yellow is the color that possesses the highest symbolic quality because of the saffron color of the monk's robes. And it goes on to say that it is also a color of the earth. Yellow denotes stability and grounded nature. So really, nature worship, all that kind of thing, Gaia, Mother Earth, that same kind of stuff. So yellow is basically representing Mother Earth worship, nature worship, and red is good old duality, because fire can be a good thing and a bad thing. So keep this duality in mind, because there are still more connections regarding this this Buddhism and these colors and what you're going to see here. So as we keep going, we'll see that they get taken into a temple and told that this image is Kong. So you see this image, it comes together. So, but can you see, what I found interesting is, can you see what these people are doing in the image? They are basically bowing down to this giant gorilla. So they're worshiping him as an idol or as a pagan god. So very much to me, it reminded me of good old Hanuman, the worship, which he is worshipped in Hinduism and in Buddhism. So if we look at, there's just a picture of Hanuman. He's always depicted as, you know, the monkey god. He's got the monkey face and the very strong body of a man. So to me, yet again, Nephilim worship, similar to Ganesha, who's got the elephant head and the human body, but again, complete Nephilim stuff going on here. And this article from Encyclopedia Britannica, who explains Hanuman, says that in Hindu mythology, the monkey commander of the monkey army, his exploits are narrated in the great Hindu Sanskrit poem Ramayana. So it says that while still a baby, Hanuman, the child of a nymph by the wind god, tried to fly up and grab the sun, which he mistook for a fruit. Indra, the king of the gods, struck Hanuman with a thunderbolt, so I guess Indra could be the Hindu version of Zeus, on the jaw, thus Hanu, thus inspiring the name. When Hanuman continued to misbehave, powerful sages cursed him to forget his magic powers, such as the ability to fly or to become infinitely large, until he was reminded of them. Hanuman led the monkeys to help Rama, an avatar incarnation of the god Vishnu, to recover Rama's wife Sita from the demon Ravana. All right, so basically we can see that this Hanuman is a trickster, that he's full of mischief. He was struck literally by Zeus or Indra, and he was, you know, trying to get him to forget his powers, his ability to fly and become extremely large. But what I also found interesting about Hanuman, apart from the fact that he's worshipped in many temples, it actually says here, I personally used to only put Hanuman, or associate Hanuman, I should say, with Hinduism. But look at this. Hanuman is also a popular figure among Buddhists in Central, Southeast, and East Asia. Okay, so Hanuman is a prominent figure in Hinduism as well as in Buddhism. And so, you know, this is being shown, I believe, in this movie, how they are worshiping Hanuman. And even though we got these characters that seemingly are Buddhists or look like Buddhists, you would think that they worship Buddha, but they also worship Hanuman, as shown in this Encyclopedia Britannica article. And, you know, something that we have been shown in other movies, I'm sure you'll recall the Jungle Book, and, you know, King Louis, who was shown to be a very funny character in the original animated film many years ago by Disney, was shown in this recent one as a very dark kind of creature. I found it quite interesting that he resided in something that looked like almost like a Hindu temple or a Buddhist temple. He was very big. He was a very dark kind of creature, and, you know, was very forceful. He also commanded a bunch of monkeys as his cronies, just exactly as Hanuman does, as was shown in this article, that he commands his monkeys, or his monkey soldiers, or whatever you want to call it. So really the same kind of thing is being shown to us. So is it the same thing really as King Kong? So basically Kong is the same kind of thing, controlling this island. He's being hailed as the king of this island. And so to me, we are possibly being shown Hanuman pagan worship going on here. And, you know, in the next scene we see these people are getting told that Kong is king around here. So really, again, pagan god worship, Hanuman worship. And interesting that these 5 people form, you know, almost a pyramidal shape, go figure, just as we saw in the poster. And again, is this denoting the 5th age that is coming? And, you know, what I also found interesting, and talking about some, you know, more deeper connections here, it's interesting that the same actor who played Loki in Thor is in this movie as well. He's one of the main characters. And, you know, so I started digging into it as to, is there a significance or a connection between Loki and this movie? And lo and behold, there is. As we look more into Loki, you'll remember him, his character in Thor. He was almost even a fun-loving kind of character. Many people fell in love with how this particular actor played Loki, but he had quite the pizzazz and charisma and stuff like that. But if we look at the Norse mythology of Loki, we know that he is a shapeshifter. We know that he is also a wily trickster. Interesting that Hanuman, as we just saw, also is a wily trickster, that he does mischief, he misbehaves. Okay, so same kind of thing here that we're being shown here with Loki. So Loki could be a Norse equivalent of Hanuman, the same kind of thing. He is treated as a nominal member of the gods. Loki occupies a high, ambivalent, and ultimately unique position among the gods, giants, and other kinds of spiritual beings. All right, so again, the giants, King Kong is a giant. Hanuman is also a giant, as it says that he is able to become infinitely large. So again, Loki as well is able to do the same thing. And what I find quite interesting here, as we go down here, it says that in the tales, Loki is portrayed as a scheming coward who cares only for shallow pleasures and self-preservation. He's by turns playful, malicious, and helpful. So he can be malicious, he can be helpful. Remember the duality that we just spoke about as we showed the colors of Buddhism, and how red, the fire, can represent duality. So the same thing we're being shown here with Loki, that he also can signify duality. All right, and that he goes back and forth, that he can be malicious and helpful, that he can be irreverent and nihilistic as well. So can you see the same theme being played here with Loki or with Hanuman, that basically they're a trickster, that they're shapeshifters, or at least Loki can take the shape of anything, that he can also become a giant. And I will leave this article and all the other things that I'm showing in this video for you to look for yourself, that basically he can be a helper, but he can also be a trickster and be malevolent and do things against the other ones that he was helping. So really, this is just the same thing that we're being shown, whether it's about Hanuman, whether it's King Kong, whether it's even Loki. It's no coincidence that the same character who played Loki in the Thor movies is now one of the main characters in this movie, because it all ties together. Always remember that these things are never done by accident, that the Illuminati and the Jesuit Illuminati behind Hollywood, the occultic Satanists, they are doing this all on purpose. They know exactly what they are doing. And as we keep going, we see this scene of one of the soldiers and good old huge massive King Kong as he's just striding through the mountains and the water here. And they get told that Kong's a pretty good king. He pretty much keeps to himself mostly. So Hanuman, or basically a pagan god, is now, being deemed as pretty good and peaceful then, right? So yeah, we can, rely on these gods. They're benevolent, they're kind, they will help us, and, they keep to themselves. There's no harm in being in fellowship or being in communion with these pagan gods. No, not at all. But, really, society is being programmed to accept paganism as good. So can you see the duality? Just as we spoke of the fire, the red color of Buddhism, it represents duality, because fire can be a nice, warm, and comforting thing, but it can also be a destructive thing. We are really being shown that darkness is being made light, and light darkness, just as what Isaiah 5 says in chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This duality is exactly what the devil loves. He is constantly trying to show, light and darkness, good and evil, man and woman, all in the same kind of context, or in the same likeness of being, that light and darkness are the same, but really they are not. We know that even as the Word of God says that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. So light and darkness cannot coexist. All right, it is either one or the other, but the devil wants to keep morphing them into the same thing. That is how he is confusing the masses. And as we keep going, we see that Kong, we get told that Kong is God on the island, but the devils live below us. And this is said, nicely said, as we see good old sun god symbolism behind Kong. So really showing him as good old Hanuman. We see the same kind of things when we see Hanuman depictions, the sign of the sun god behind him, the illuminated one. All these same kind of traits we see in many of these artists' renderings of these pagan gods. So, we get told that the devils live below us. So if that's the case, what does that mean that they are coming out soon? If they know that they're below us, is the pit about to open very soon? And sure enough, in the very next scene, surprise, surprise, we get shown the pit. And of course, it's red and smoking. So literally the pit is being shown as about to be opened. Will CERN be the key? I'm sure it could very well be. Many of us know that CERN is right in an area that was known in ancient times as Apaliacum, or basically the gates of hell. So is CERN going to be the key, or the thing, the machine, the apparatus that opens the pit? I'm sure that is going to be the case. And, we keep going in the next scene. Loki asks, I'm going to just call him Loki from now on, because basically that's who he reminds me of. And what are they called? And this is the things that come out of the pit. And he goes, I call them skull crawlers, which you'll see in a little bit. But I don't know about you, but this scene, as you can see the humans walking through this, you can see them right there. There's a line of human beings. Look at how tiny they are compared to these bones, or the remains of what is being shown here in this scene. So, this is totally reminding me of something, which is basically the tons of pictures online of the tons of gigantic bones that have been found all over the earth. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, I'll give you some little stuff to chew on here. This is a depiction or a rendering of many of the different sizes of bones that have been found. Some up to even as 36 feet have been found all over the earth. You see pictures of this. You can see how small the people are, but look at how huge this skeleton is. You can see another one here. You can see here's another one with a man. There's a regular sized man, and look at how long this thing is. You can see another picture here of how tiny this man is and how big these bones are. So really, these are things that are being found all over the world.
King Kong, 1976, 3 years after the Slim Towers would open in Lower Manhattan, but 25 years before Blind 11 would happen. And this movie was all about oil, world domination, by releasing Kong on New York, the boogeyman, so that America finally comes to its knees in fear.
Well, here's to the big one.
But I did tell you, you shouldn't have radioed New York. You were bringing in the big one.
He was the terror, the mystery of their lives, and the magic.
Our big chance, and yours too. There are stars at Princeton, the same way there are in Hollywood, Jack. You want out? You want me to cable Harvard or Yale and get Kong another keeper?
Harvard or Yale and get Kong another keeper?
Coast-to-coast tours, Beauty and the Beast, it's a grotesque farce.
You say the word, Jack.
The question was always, who would be Kong's keeper? And they chose Bush. This film is loaded with birthdays on Blind 11. And its mirror date of April 21st. What's a mirror date, you're asking? Well, each day on the calendar falls on a certain day of the year with a certain amount of days remaining. And so therefore, every date has a mirror date. April 21st is Blind 11's mirror date. Always has been, always will be. You can learn something from these mirror dates because this is the code language that these people use to instill their black magic and sorcery on all of us through popular media. The movie poster even hides the future date of destruction. Japanese even got in on it with Godzilla vs. Megalodon poster. Japanese architect designed the World Trade Center. There was even fear of collapse during the filming of King Kong. Let's take a closer look at this film that released 25 years before Blind 11. So the theme is virgin sacrifice between the two pillars. We've established that. It's a pattern. We've seen this in other movies as well. Saw this in the 1973 installment of 007 Bond films. The virgin between the two maypoles. The two becoming one ritual. And here we see it again in Kong, 1976.
You're a stowaway? No, Jack Prescott. I'm from Princeton. Department of Primate Healing Intelligence. Department of Primate Healing Intelligence.
Department of Primate Healing Intelligence.
Jack Prescott. No, Jack Prescott. Jack Prescott. To make a deal. 6 of them for Dwan. Six of them for Dwan.
A big one.
What's the matter? There's Yang-Hu. I don't know where, but I've seen this view before.
Jesus. Who says I ain't gonna? Wilson to explore.
You've been through so much excitement, it's in your blood like dope.
Get me a clear channel to Surabaya. I want to arrange an airdrop right away.
I want to arrange an airdrop right away.
You're gonna need new fixes that I'm not gonna be able to give you.
Where is Kong headed?
There's one place in Manhattan that looks exactly like a certain part of his native habitat. Let him through to it, and you can trap him there. Let him climb to the top of the World Trade Center.
And now you know the truth. 25 years, 2 stars, 5 stripes. 25 years before the event would happen in 1976. They already knew. In fact, they already knew in 1933, before they were even conceived, with the movie poster from Kong 1933. We see the 2 towers. And this has always been about building and destroying order out of chaos. These people have technologies you could not ever even imagine. I've just demonstrated to you clearly that there was foreshadowing. This is just one film. Take a look at any of the other films in the playlist on this channel, and you will see the truth over and over. Take care and be safe, you guys.
Even if it garners $120 million in rent a year from the businesses inside it, it would still take 35 years to recoup the cost of construction. But as one worker on the site says, that's hardly the point. Quote, "This building wasn't built to make money. It was built to demonstrate something to the world."
That morning, being down here now, as different as it looks, I still have those visuals, those images in my mind, in my head.
We're armed as a nation.
missions.
Suicide bombers, it happens in Israel on a daily basis. Those are the things we have to be careful of now. We have to watch for now.
Do you expect a suicide bomb plane struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center 1 year ago? Hundreds of people have gathered here at Ground Zero to mark the anniversary in what is expected to be, we tell you that the anniversary ceremony will also include several moments of silence, marking the times that the hijacked jets place roses on the site for a flower arrangement that will be turned into.
That's you and I, as the Masonic Illuminati sees us, as mindless apes, bowing and worshipping their demonic black obelisk of Masonic wisdom and Luciferian light. Their cube, so they think, that's going to spark and create this new world order, this Luciferian Antichrist system that's about to come upon the entire world. All symbolized by events taking place in our day and age. 9/11. That was one of their events. The Hilton Hotel. You can see it in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Blatantly, just there it is, put there in the Hilton Hotel in space. They both checked their watches. So they're telling you a little time story right there, how this is all dealing with time. And remember now, the original script was dealing with Saturn, not Jupiter. And Saturn deals with time. When you look at the original Millennium Hotel that was built in front of the Twin Towers, it's an obelisk. They intentionally built it to look like the obelisk in 2001, and they even say so. In the original script, of course, it's a cube that they changed. The logo of the Hilton Hotel is two twin towers within the all-seeing eye. It also is a pause button. A pause button stops time. It freezes time. It's also a 6, which is a 9. It's 666. And it's all in the movie. When you look at another one of their hotels, it shows like a split down the middle, representing like 9/11, Twin Towers falling over. There are 5 pillars on each side, and it's split down the middle. And that's for the center column in all of the designs of Freemasonry. It's all there represented. The monolith Hilton Hotel representing the monolith. They even said that that's what it represents officially. And there it stood in the middle, and it still stands to this day. The monolith, the center invisible pillar cube that survived the disaster. Well, now, I found this footage on YouTube. It was shot by somebody else. And what I found interesting is he shot it from the Hilton Millennium Hotel that's built in the shape of the monolith from 2001. Still standing to this day. And he's shooting outside of the window, looking at the two memorials for the Twin Towers and the Freedom Building and some other buildings. I mean, don't you find it strange that this thing survived? I mean, they really planned this out pretty well. They made only what they wanted to come down. The perfect demolition, but that's how they did it. Intentionally making sure that this monolith cube represents their Illuminati wisdom, which is that small center. If you look at Masonic pictures of the two columns, you'll see in the middle there's this, there it is, this little smaller column or cube or monolith or obelisk right there. And this is how they brought it in. The Freedom Tower represents this wisdom, this new world order that they want to bring upon all of us. I've read it's supposedly supposed to be 1,776 feet tall. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know how to confirm that, but looking on the internet, this is what I've read, this is what I've seen. Now, if that is the case, they are most definitely not referring to America's birth of 1776, but to the Illuminati's birth of 1776, because that's who they are, and that's who did this. And also, in the same video, look at these memorials to the two towers, the two twin towers here. Look at those things. They're square holes in the ground. There you got waterfalls running on the sides, and in the center is like another black hole, cube, square, black pit. And it's all just going down and down and down, then it goes into that square pit hole. What kind of memorial is that? They're sending people into the abyss, and also at the same time symbolically representing that they've opened a hole to the abyss. I believe if you go to these places, I'm sure it just sucks energy like a vampire from people's hearts and souls and minds. I'm sure it leaves you with a dead feeling inside. These memorials aren't normal. They're not right. This is evil stuff. There you go. The Freedom Tower. Oh, man.
And so this is kind of a catalog of the different sizes of skeletons that are being found all over the world. And funny how, this is being shown pretty much in our faces in these particular movies. And, now we're being shown giant bones of giant creatures all over the place. And it's really funny how the Smithsonian and other government agencies hide this, but definitely the movies don't hide it at all. We know people like Ellie Marzulli constantly talk about how the Smithsonian hide these things, or even Tom Horn, but of course in the movies they don't hide anything. There's no holding back the movies from showing these things, because people think it's just stories and folklore and whatever in these movies. They think it's just made up, but really where are these stories coming from? They are coming from the truth that's being hidden right in plain sight. And again, funny, you've got these people again in a pyramidal shaped form, and there's 5 of them, to me, again, showing the 5th age that is about to come. And, talking about those skull crawlers, check out little Fluffy here, who's coming out to play. So does that mean that the pit has just been opened? These are the same abominations or devils that will come as per Isaiah 13, just as we spoke about before. Because if you look at the end of this chapter, now we said at the beginning in 13 verse 3 that the giants are coming to fulfill my wrath, and down at the bottom of this chapter at one of the final verses it says, it shall Here we go. But wild beasts shall rest there, and the houses shall be filled with howling, and monsters shall rest there, and devils shall dance there. So it's funny how even right in this movie, the lions say that the devils are there below us. Okay, as we saw in this particular scene here, it says Kong on the island, Kong is God on the island, but the devils live below us. So they're literally making reference to devils that live below us. And funny how, right in Isaiah 13, at the end of the chapter, it says, monsters shall rest there and devils shall dance there. So this is all about the giants and the Nephilim returning to the earth, God allowing them to come back onto the earth to fulfill his wrath. So these are the kinds of things that I believe, in my opinion, are going to return to the earth and are going to wreak havoc. And this is reminding me yet again of the 2005 King Kong movie, because who remembers the giant bug scene that was in that movie? To me, it was showing the locusts that are coming out of the pit, of Revelation 9. And here's a scene of that, horrible scene. I still get the willies when I see this kind of stuff. I've never been good with bugs. I cannot stand bugs, but seeing gigantic bugs like that was just horrible to watch, and was possibly one of the most craziest bug scenes I've ever seen, apart from, of course, the good old Temple of Doom scene in Indiana Jones. But again, to me, completely depicting the locusts of Revelation 9 coming out of the pit, and yet again being shown in a King Kong movie. Okay, even we saw even giant kind of leeches taking apart this guy. So again, same kind of horrible kind of stuff being shown in these movies, and again, all coming back to the fact that the devils are under us. They're going to be coming out of the pit. CERN could possibly be the instrument that causes that to happen. And so is that what we are being shown? And this final screenshot that I'm going to show you is, now it seems like they are going to Kong, the king and god of this island, for help. Because in the next scene, when you saw that trailer that we showed at the beginning of this video, you see that this female character puts her hand up so as to touch Kong, as if they're making peace with him, as if they're going to him for help. So really, are they basically showing that they are reaching out to Hanuman for help? So basically, they are reaching out to the trickster, or the devil, who is now the hero. So yet again, talking about duality, fire, the color red in Buddhism, symbolizing duality, warmth but also destruction. Loki being the trickster and also being a good guy, or even Hanuman being a mischief maker, but also being able to morph into a huge thing. So we can see this is yet again a representation of duality, of Hanuman, the pagan god, all of a sudden becoming the good guy, being looked upon as the hero, being called upon to help, and possibly being shown as benevolent, but he is anything but, because he is just a servant of Lucifer, of Satan, the dragon. So this is really what we're being shown, I believe, the return of the Nephilim, the fallen angels, of Lucifer, the dragon. And I'm sure you would have seen this commercial for Mitsubishi, one of their new hybrid vehicles, and I really believe even this whole concept of hybrid vehicles is basically more programming to accept these hybrid beings, the Nephilim. We see in this commercial the Medusa here with the snake head. We see this bull face character as with the body of a man. We see a mermaid. We see Pegasus here, a horse with wings. We see, of course, a Chiron with a man and a horse body. So same kind of stuff being shown, that the pit is about to be open, that these characters are about to come out of the pit, or come even from the firmament, the return of the fallen angels. So the same kind of thing is being shown in this Kong movie and so many other different TV shows and music videos and movies. And I really wanted to encourage you to watch a video by Round Saturn's Eye. He actually did a video exposing the same Mitsubishi commercial that I'm just speaking about. So I would encourage you, please watch this video. He did an excellent job of exposing this particular commercial, and I'm actually going to play this commercial for you at the end of this video so you can see it for yourself if you have not seen the commercial. But also I will leave a link for this particular video, so please do check out RSE's awesome video on that particular commercial, because again, it is all telegraphing the return of the Nephilim, the return of the progeny of the fallen angels mating with human women, the work of Lucifer and his fallen angels as what they did in the days of Noah. And this is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:6 says that there is just absolutely nothing new under the the Son, that what has been done before will be done again. There is just nothing new. So even though the church, many mainstream Christians don't want to hear these things, but really the Word of God has been showing us and screaming to us of what is about to come for the longest time, for millennia. And so the pit, in my opinion, is about to be opened very soon. The return of the Nephilim. This is exactly, in my opinion, what this movie is showing and what many other commercials and TV shows are also depicting. And again, you don't have to believe anything that I say. I encourage you to look into these things for yourself, because always remember that even Yeshua Jesus said the same thing. And right from Matthew 24, when his disciples were asking what will be the signs of the end, he said in verse 37 of chapter 24, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." So what were the days of Noah? I believe Yeshua gave us a very obvious clue, and that what was going on with Noah. The traditional church likes to preach that it was just about man's sin, but really, if it was about man's sin, then really we need to be making life rafts right now, because we should have been destroyed a long time ago. It's something that even Chuck Missler talks about, that we should have been destroyed a long time ago if the flood was just about sin. But really, there was much more going on. It was the fallen angels taking women for themselves and having relations with them, and their progeny were the giants, the Nephilim, these crazy unsanctioned creatures that were definitely not allowed by God himself. So he sent the flood to destroy them, and that is exactly what Yeshua is talking about. That, just as in the days of Noah, the Nephilim, the fallen angels, the dragon doing all their horrible things, that is exactly what is coming upon the earth in the last days. And we are being shown this over and over again, because sadly the illuminated ones, the Jesuits, the Luciferian elites, basically all the people who are part of the Illuminati and who are running this world, they know exactly what is coming because they worship these things. All right, so do not be fooled, do not be programmed by what we are being shown. Do not accept these things, because only Yeshua is going to come and destroy these things. He is going to rule this world once and for all. And I'm going to end with showing you this song. You will recognize the song in the trailer as a CCR song, or Creedence Clearwater Revival song, Bad Moon Rising. It's quite interesting that they chose this song, and again, nothing is by chance or coincidence. This song was chosen for a very obvious reason. If you look at the lyrics, "I see a bad moon rising, I see trouble on the way, I see earthquakes and lightning, I see bad times today. Don't go around tonight, well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise." And it keeps going. "I hear hurricanes blowing. I know the end is coming soon." Now, if that isn't more obvious, I do not know what is. Okay, again, I know the end is coming soon. So really, you can keep looking at these lyrics, but it's all about the end. It's all about the destruction of the world. It's all about the fact that darkness is coming, that the end is coming, that there's going to be earthquakes and lightning and trouble is on the way, that the end is coming soon. So just be forewarned right now that we are being shown that the return of the Nephilim is coming, that Isaiah 13 has clearly been prophesying this, as have many other prophetic scriptures in the Word of God, whether it's the book of Daniel, whether it's the book of Revelation, whether it's Yeshua, Jesus himself in the Gospels, talking about just as in the days of Noah, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man. So do not let these things program you. Do not let these things condition you to accept this reality or to accept these fallen angels and their progeny, because this is nothing more than the devil coming very soon. He is showing you through these movies, through Luciferian Hollywood, that he and his creatures are coming to this earth very soon, that the final judgment is coming upon this earth very, very soon. And the only way to be rescued from this horrible, horrible time on this world is to put your faith and your trust in Yeshua Jesus. He is the only one that can save you from these things. And I just say today is the day of salvation. Please declare him as your Lord and Savior, because I would hate to see anyone left behind for what is about to come upon this earth. And again, as always, please be aware of what is being shown to us in plain sight. God bless you.
Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, the UK's best-selling plug-in hybrid. In a world of hybrids, some follow, others lead.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand, therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints, and for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. But that ye also may know my affairs, and how I do, Tychicus, a beloved brother and faithful minister in the Lord, shall make known to you all things, whom I have sent unto you for the same purpose, that ye might know our affairs, and that he might comfort your hearts. Peace be to the brethren, and love with faith from God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be with all them that love our Lord Jesus Christ in sincerity. Amen.
To the Ephesians, written from Rome by Tychicus,